Thank you for coming to Real Expert today. My name is Toby Shifsky. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 proven pathways to financial success in real estate career. So today, our guest is none other than Steve Strickholm. Steve Strickholm is not only a character, but he's becoming a staple on our Real Expert presentations, generally drawing large crowds. And once again, today, a very large crowd. So Steve, I just want to give her a bio so everybody knows. If this is your first time here, you should know that Steve Strickholm is the founder and president of KDNA Knowledge, KDNA Full Throttle Coaching, and KDNA Income and Goal Tracking Software. So over the past 10 years, Steve and his team have worked with tens of thousands of agents, like really 50,000 agents plus, to help them achieve their income goals in real estate. Their software is the top solution in real estate, and it combined with Kaplan Full Throttle Coaching workbooks and videos. So you should know, Steve is actually an author also, and he works with Kaplan. He's created a line of coaching products for, well, there you go. Look at it. He's holding up his book and everything. Nicely done, Steve. So Steve,
our book. You and I did it together. So.
Yeah, we did it together. There you go. So, and so Steve, in working with tens of thousands of agents and with his goal tracking software, has a very unique perspective on how agents become successful in this business, and is very much a one of our subject matter experts in this area. And Steve, thank you for being here today.
Pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We'll just pull us up on the video front and center. All right. Let's go ahead and jump in. What I want to do is I want to start with a poll. We're going to do it really quickly. And for those of you who've been here before, you know that I'm going to ask you kind of how long you've been in the business. So let me do this. Let me pull up a quick poll so we kind of know who's here. And Steve, you know, you've been here before. We get people who've been in the business for 30 years. They should actually be here on video with us. And there's other people who don't even have their license yet. So let's do this. We've got hundreds of people here. I'm going to just put up a poll. Once again, everybody, these polls are anonymous, so nobody's going to see your results on these polls. Just go ahead and put it up. Be as honest as you can be. And here we go. Poll question number 1. How long have you been in the real estate business? How long have you been in the real estate business? Did that poll come up for everybody?
I don't see a poll, but
did that poll not come up?
I'm not the moderator. I mean, I'm not the student.
Let's see here. Polls. And
or they can put it in the chat box.
No poll. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I'm not sure why our poll results aren't coming up.
There it is.
Well, we got to have you be able to take the poll. How about this?
They're putting it in
here we go. Relaunch and poll. Here we go. Boom. I figured it out. All right, everybody. Take a look at this. I know a bunch of people put in the chat. Go ahead and re-answer it here. Look at that. Oh, they're another flying in. We got hundreds of people answering. Sorry about the hiccup. Hey, if you're on your mobile device, you may have to slide to another screen to see the poll. So go look at your mobile device and see if you can actually go ahead and answer the question. So look at this. Just passed in title insurance. And here's the deal. We're going to get a gauge of how many people are good. We got people who've been here for 10 years. We got people 6 to 8. How about you people who've been in for 3 years or less? You came in since the pandemic. Very unique perspective on this marketplace. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. All right, here we go. We're going to end the poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we'll share the results. Everybody take a look who's in here. Steve, I think this is a new record. I think we've got like 71% of the people haven't even finished their licensing education yet, or are not even licensed yet. They're maybe on the precipice of being licensed. So super excited for you guys. Super excited for what's happening in business. This is the right place. For those of you who've been in the business and you're playing along with us today, make sure you share your thoughts, your ideas on what we're going to cover today. The chat is open to everybody. All right. So make sure that you're playing along with us because we like that. So here's the thing. You 71%, you're going to get a lot out of it. You people who've been here for 3 years, you're going to kind of learn some things about how you did it, maybe how you do it different, or maybe how you might adjust right now. 4 to 5 years, this is going to be very interesting for you because you're going to look back and say what the mistakes you made or what you did right and what you did wrong, and then share. All right, let's do this. Let's jump in. First thing up, Steve, everybody comes out and into the real estate world, and they've got big grand plans of how they're going to make money in real estate. And the first thing they do is they don't realize how long it takes to ramp up a business, and they don't realize I need a check in order to keep doing this. And they don't, everybody says, and I see this all the time, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna make a lot of money, and I'm ready to go to work. I like homes, I like real estate, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna make a lot of money. But it takes some time. And those of you who've been in the business for a while, right? Yeah, look at Angelo. This is scary, but also thrilling at the same time. It is. It's very thrilling because you get to call the shots. The problem is you call the shots. And if you don't have a plan, you're in trouble. So Steve, tell me, you've seen this. You've talked to people, you've surveyed, you've organized, you've worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of brokerages, some of them ginormous with hundreds of thousands of people, agents. What do you see when it comes down to how people who are successful come into the business? How does that work?
Oh, sure. Okay. So since like 80% of you are just getting your license or new to the business, two things I want to mention really quickly that those of you who are experienced know. First of all, the market is open. This isn't like a closed market. 75% of all real estate sales are made by the person choosing a new agent, a different agent than the previous agent that sold or helped them buy their house, because that agent doesn't stay in touch. So the great thing is for you people, I saw one person say, this is scary. Well, it is scary, but it's great, and it's an open market. 75% of the people are looking for and will use a different agent than the one that they used before buying and selling their house. So it's an open market. The second thing is half of all sales are made by people that you already know. We call it your sphere of influence. So one of the things we're going to talk about as we go through these 7 different ways is using your sphere of influence, people that already know and trust you, hopefully to an extent, a lot, those are the people that are going to be where you start to build your business. Okay, so I want to make sure you know those 2 things. It gives you a lot of hope and a lot of motivation as new people entering the business, and the people that are already in the business know that this is true. So the 7, we're going to talk about the 7 different pathways to a successful real estate career. So Toby, do you want to start out with the first one?
Yeah, well, I think everybody. I think everybody thinks when, well, not everybody. See, everybody has kind of a little different plan. And I think what you've done, Steve, really well, which is why we wanted to do this webinar, was to kind of identify really 7 categories to success. And here's the deal. I think through all of this, selecting which way you do it is the important part. And then following through and executing on the strategy to succeed to the level of what you want for success. Because I think the key here is, and people, some of you people have been in this business for 10 years plus. In fact, maybe you can throw it in the chat. What is success to you? Is it driving, 70 transactions a year? Or is success to you having 10 transactions a year and having supplemental income for what you want to do? What is success? Or is it having your own business and having you have your free time, your personal time, you have your professional time, but are you finding a balance, or is it the lifestyle you're looking for? Identifying really what you want as success, I think, is kind of the key to this whole thing today. Am I right, Steve?
Right. Yeah. So let's start out with a 7, right? Because I know we got people like, what are they? Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
First one is like, let's say you want to go full-time right away. So one of the things we were talking about earlier was that it's not like being a doctor. Like, okay, so you get your license as a doctor and you're going to be a full-time doctor, right? So this isn't like you get a license as a real estate agent. Now suddenly you're a full-time real estate agent. You put the shingle up and everybody's lining up at the door to use your services. That's not how it works. Okay.
Well, like Zach said earlier in the comments, he's like, hey, listen, the phone doesn't just start ringing because you hang a shingle out and say, I'm in the business, right?
Right,
takes some time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if you want to be a full-time agent right away, which I know people that have done that, and I actually did that myself, it's an incredible commitment. You got to make sure you've got a 6 to 9 month runway in terms of financial savings to get you through that initial go, because even as you get people signing a listing agreement or getting a buyer, it's still 3 to 4 or 5 months until you're going to see commission check. Okay, so you got to really give it like a year. Okay, Julie Olson, being self-employed and be able to make income goals with no salary restrictions. Okay.
Like that.
That's Julie, one of our coaches and trainers. So you can go full-time right away, 40, 60 hours a week, but you've got to have that financial backing behind you.
You got to have a bankroll, right? I mean, you've got to have money in the bank, because it's going to take you 90 days to a first check minimum. And when do you get, because really, I could tell you this, for being successful in the business, it's not only the first check, Steve, but it's getting 5 checks in a year. I mean, unless you got giant bank and you're good for you.
Or you have a partner, spouse or partner who's got a full-time job and like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. This is our financial plan together. And that is great. That's great. So just to let you know, that's the full-time plan. It's not like other professions where you become a lawyer or a doctor right away. You got to go out there and it's going to take you a while, and you're not getting a salary from a medical center or from a firm that you're entering in order to do that. Now, there is another way, a second way that you can go full time pretty quickly, which is that you can join a team, okay? And you become a buyer agent. And what will happen with a team, if you join a team, the rainmaker, person's been in business 10, 20, 30 years, has got more business than they can handle. They're handling the listings. Okay, and I got all these buyer leads, people that want to, buy a house, and they give you those buyer leads, so they kind of mentor you, but they're going to kind of do like a 50-50 commission split. And that's okay. There are a lot of people that go out into Keller Williams. Yeah, there are a lot of Keller Williams teams. They kind of started the team idea, but now let's spend a lot of other organizations.
Now, everybody supports teams now. Essentially, you have to, because, and we do for us looking at this. Teams is a good way to go. If you're going to go full time, it's access to instant leads. And we all know you're in the lead generation game. Now, you give up a lot, though, being on a team. Also, you are working with a team, but you're also gaining. And hopefully, if you're on the right team, you're getting a mentor, you're getting the training, you're getting access to instant leads and possible money, and you get a fair commission split. You're getting all those things. The teams have been good for new agents for a while now, right? And so. Yeah, go ahead.
And that helps with your learning curve, because if you're on a team, you got a rainmaker, there are usually like 5, 10 people on a team, maybe 15 or 20. But that person who's running the team, they have a vested interest in your making money because it's their lead, and they want you to close that lead, and they want you to sell that house. Okay. Yeah. So they're going to mentor you. When you join an office with 50 people or whatever, generally the office manager is not in a position to do a lot of mentoring. Like, hey, here's your
when I got in a business back in 91, the managers were like that. The managers were very kind of hands-on and more of and today, the way the size of offices and the scale and, in order to be profitable, a lot of management is transactional managers and making sure your contracts are done right, but not necessarily saying, all right, today we're going to work on calling scripts. That some do, but generally that's not it, right? They're your business partner. They're not really your mentor or your coach, or it's generally not like that.
And I'll just say that, we here at KD&A, we do that. We have training programs. You can go to our website, kdna.com, if you want to learn about that. But what brokers do is their job is to make sure you don't get sued and they don't get sued. And by the way, when you get your license, that's all the state cares about.
That's basically it, right?
Sued.
Yeah, don't get sued. All right, so
there's nothing in the licensing program that you've gone through or that you're in that tells you how to actually build a real estate career. They're actually not allowed to talk about that. It's all about how to do all the legal transactions correctly and not get sued, and take fiduciary care of your clients. That's why you get your license. It has nothing to do, like with a doctor, they're actually trained how to be a doctor. You're not being trained on how to actually create a business in real estate. That's why we're here today.
It's how to stay out of an orange jumpsuit. Is really
it's a secret.
So let me keep moving along, because we're going to hit this. We're going to hit this 30 minutes, everybody. And by the way, if you have to go, we will send out a video later for you. But there's 3 real ways that Steve, you've identified as going full time. But the first one was full bore. I'm all in. Right. I've got some bankroll so that I can survive until I get a check, but I am all in. The second way you just described was, I'm going to join a team as a full time. That way I get bankroll. I get access to leads and possible commission quicker. I get some mentoring. I get some training. I get that kind of thing. There's also, what about the people who have a really good job, but or they just have a job and it's not the greatest, but it's full-time. Is there a
Mhm.
way to go full-time and transition out of a job?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a story. This is what my mom did. Okay. Now my mom got to the point where she was one of the top producers in Indiana, in Bloomington, Indiana. That's where she lives currently. And she got it to 50 transactions a year, which is like a 6-figure income. But here's how she did it. She got to be a full-time agent within a year and a half. She had a full-time job. Now, this is what she did. She got up and she went into, this is when you had a real estate office. So now
They're
that is
still out
called
there.
your,
There's still
that's
offices.
called your, it's called your kitchen or your bedroom or whatever. Okay. So
Yeah.
wherever you got your home office, okay, she got up but the hour before she went into her full-time job, she got on the phone and she started calling people, talking to her sphere of influence, which is, hey, do you have any questions about real estate? Anything I can help you with? Or do you know anybody that you think would have questions about real estate I could help them with? That's what she did. And then she went to, and she was working on setting up appointments. Then she went to her full-time job from 9 to 12. At lunch, she took a sandwich, ate at her desk, and made phone calls. It's all about calling and talking to people and building relationships. And then at 5 o'clock, she went out for 2 to 3 hours and she showed homes. So she was working 5 hours a day plus weekends, okay, on building her business while she worked a full-time job. If you do that and you make those calls, you spend 2 hours a day making phone calls and confirming appointments, 2 to 3 hours every evening doing appointments, within a year and a half, you will have, if you do it right, you can have a full-time career in real estate and bankroll yourself, not through a team, but building your own business through your full-time job. But you have to commit before you go to work, during lunch, and after work, going out and doing the business and then working at the weekends. If you do that, you can have a 6-figure career in real estate within a couple of years, and you can quit that job you may or may not like.
So, and I love it. So, and that's what we're hearing is, that's a big time commitment. Not everybody has the luxury to basically work 2 full-time jobs at the same time, but the nature of real estate is you do set your own appointments and you can work around an existing schedule and you can put the time in and you can do that kind of a transition. It's hard work, but there's also a foundation, a safety net by keeping your existing job and doing that. That does happen. And a lot of people do that successfully.
Right, and Kimberly just said, I saw in the chat that discipline is the key. Absolutely. It's discipline and building momentum in your business. So you can't just wake up, well, today I don't feel like calling anybody. Sorry, that's your job. So your job is not selling real estate, it's building your business in order to sell real estate. 80% of what you're going to do is lead generating. That's why in this workbook, Ready, Set, Go, that we did, that Toby and I did, the first chapter is the primary job of you as a real estate agent is lead generating. So
this is the business world. This is the business. All right. Okay, so
let's go to part-time. Let's go to,
because here's the thing. I know we got people in here that are doing, as we get through these 7, those of you who are in the business and active, you're going to go, that's me, or that's me. And in fact, I'm going to ask a poll question at the end, once again, anonymous, but we're going to ask a poll question at the end and say, hey, what are you? And then for those of you coming into the business, we're going to ask you a poll question, say, how are you going to go into the business? Really interested to see what that is. And we'll share the results. Once again, it's anonymous, but we'll share the results with everybody. All right. Great. So listen closely. So part-time. All right, listen, I got a job. I just want to do this part-time. Like my end game isn't full-time. And believe me, there's a lot of people that do this. There's a lot of people on here right now that this is what they do. This is part-time. This is what I do in addition to taking care of the family or another job that I love to do or volunteer work or whatever. So Steve, tell us about because there's a couple different ways to do part-time.
Right. Okay. So one way is to really work within your, it's all about your sphere of influence. Okay. And that sphere can be within your job or outside of your job. So for example, one of our clients is a hockey player. Okay. And and so he got his license in real estate. And what do hockey players do? They sit on the bus, they sit on the plane, and they're like, "Hey, you just bought a house? Yeah, I'm a real estate agent, and I know all about like what hockey players need and what they want. You got to have the foosball room downstairs in the basement.
Game room.
Gotta have the game room, man. And I know how to get you a 30-foot by 40-foot game room down in the basement, right? So you can have all your stuff down there. Great. Or whatever. So they're sitting on the plane, they're on the bus, whatever, and they're talking to people as part of their regular job, and they get to talk to people about their real estate needs. And this person, selling a couple houses a month as a hockey player. Now that's within your job, sphere of influence. Now, I'll give you an example. If you're an educator, we have a lot of very successful agents who were school teachers. Well, guess what? You're a school teacher, and the parents that you interact with, you're building trust with those people. Okay, so when the only reason people will do business with you in real estate is because they trust you. So there's a saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So yeah, you have expertise, but if they don't trust you and they go, I want you, because I know you're going to take good care of me, you're going to make sure you really take care of my needs and listen to me and find me the house that I need, not the house that you want to sell me. If you have that relationship with people, they will hire you as their real estate agent. Okay.
Right on.
So your sphere can be within your job, or, for example, as an educator, all the parents that you worked with. We know teachers after 10 years that go out and they have like an instant real estate career, right?
Yes.
Because of that sphere. But a lot of people, 50% of all the business you do is going to be your sphere of influence, people who already know and trust you. Take that sphere. You got to get a list together. That's the other thing you got to do. You got to build a list of 50, 100 people and start contacting them. And if they're not going to come to you, you got to contact them. Okay, so that's how you can build a part-time, either your sphere in through your job or your sphere outside your job.
So once again, we talk about niches, have a niche. Your niche may actually be your current profession, or it may be your past profession, or it may be a social group you're involved with, right? But people already like you. They already trust you. In fact, they relate to you so well that you might just work with that group and just be available to them. So I've had my real estate license since 1991, and I generally just do real estate for my family and my immediate friend group. I don't, I do a fair amount, but I still do that even with my job at Kaplan. How about that? So let's do this. Let's move on.
Okay.
What if I want to keep my job and I want to supplement? I think we did.
You want to supplement my income, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we got to run real quick, so I'm going to give you a couple of other tips. Another great way to get into real estate is to do something different, which is to become a leasing agent. I mean, I know leasing agents making a 6-figure income. A leasing agent, let's help you lease out. And you know what happens when those people are ready to buy a house? If you took good care of them, they're going to hire you as their real estate agent to buy their house. Another one, I know somebody who's managing an apartment complex. Okay, they got 100 people in the apartment complex. Every year, 10 of those people, they want to buy a house. Well, if you as apartment manager or leasing manager take really good at your clients, they're going to hire you as a real estate agent in order to buy their first or their next house. And then also you can work within a real estate office as a manager and really get to learn the business that way, and then transition into being an agent while you're still getting your salary in the real estate office. So there are all sorts of ways to get into real estate, not being in a team, not having to use your sphere of influence. Another way,
leasing agent. How about this? A leasing agent, like you said, but how about new homes, new construction?
Yeah. Didn't get there. Right. New home construction. Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So here's the deal. There are literally multiple categories of ways to go in, and they can be very part-time. They can be very full-time. But each one can. You have to be able to describe what you think success is, and then understand kind of what that really comments. Like somebody said, boy, you know what? I'd like to do this. I'd like to work into it, but I have daycare isn't available on the weekends. Can I still do real estate? I think that was Faith that asked that question. And the answer is you can. You need to be able to set the expectations in your clients that say, listen, I do this all day long during the week, but I am not available on the weekends. Is that going to be okay? Well, as a matter of fact, it is great, because we want to have this done by the weekend. Oh, super. But you have to make sure you're setting the expectations, and you're going to need to be understanding you got to pile those hours in during the week, right? Go ahead, Steve. You're going to ask.
Okay, so true story. Diana Kokoski, who I worked with, she ran the MAPS coaching program at Keller Williams. She's not there anymore, but she was a single mom, and she took her son Sean in a wagon when she went around and did door knocking. So you can, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just telling you, she built a very successful career taking Sean, her son, in a wagon as she went door knocking in the neighborhood she wanted to work in. So you can be as creative as you want with this business. I'm not telling you what to do, but there you go.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think we've covered everything. One last thing, you can also become a title officer, loan officer, or work in some other way within real estate. That is a full-time career where that you really come in and you and you build a business that way. Maybe as a title rep, you actually take on the territory, or as a loan officer, you're going to have to build your business and relationships. And now you're selling your business to real estate agents. So there are many different ways. We have the booklet here, and we're actually willing and happy to send you this 30-page booklet. But we need to know if you want to get a copy of it. It's free. So
yeah. So let's do this. I'm going to ask a couple polls, everybody, and we're going to give you Steve's email address where you can email him for that brochure, that ebook, I'm going to call it, and they're going to send it to you. All right. But let me do this. I want to ask a couple polls because I'm really interested in those people who have not already started the business. How are you planning on going in? And for those of you who are already in the business, you get the next poll right after that, which is how are you currently doing the business? I like to see how they match up. So if you're interested in that, here we go. I'm going to launch the first poll. This first poll, once again, is for everybody who is not licensed yet. All right, here comes the poll. Everybody who's not licensed yet, take a look at this. Not already in the business, how do you plan on entering the business of real estate? Full time, full bore. That's number one question. Go ahead and take your shot at these answers. Everybody who's not already licensed. So full time, but I'm going to use my current job as a launch pad. 1 to 3. Remember, Steve talked about his mom. 1 to 3 years. Full time, I'm joining a team. I think I can get in, and I know I might have to work a lot of hours, and that's kind of like a little more of a job than running my own show. But I'm gonna learn from somebody. Part time, I'm gonna leverage my professional sphere. I got people. I'm in a association. I'm in a club. I'm in a church. And I'm just gonna leverage that, and I'm gonna do this. Part time. Part time. Keep my job and supplement. Right. How about
how are we doing? Are people filling it out? I see some people saying they can't see the poll, but hopefully almost everybody can.
Yeah. Can you all see the poll? Hopefully you guys can see the poll. It looks like I got hundreds of answers. People.
All right. Well, then we're good.
If you're on a phone, you might have to swipe to another little page on your phone. And so go ahead. All right, here we go. We're going to finish this poll in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to share the results. Look at this. This is interesting. So 8% only, and not even 10% of the people are going to go full board. That's really interesting. Very interesting. Full time, but I'm going to transition 16%. Full time joining a team.
Wow.
Almost a third.
Wow. That's amazing.
All right. So remember these numbers here. Look at 21% part-time, keep my job, 13% other profession. Really, really interesting. All right. Now, for all those of you who are currently in the business, here comes your poll, because I'm really interested to see, right? How do you currently practice your real estate? If you're in the business, go ahead, please answer this. Once again, it's anonymous. Take a shot at it. And you're going to get the book. I'm going to put Steve's email address up here at the end, and go ahead.
Wait, Toby. No, that I think also if they say if they in the poll they say they want.
I was unable to get that poll up.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Just say yes. You want it in the chat box. We'll get a copy. We'll send you a book. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, we can do that. If you want a copy of Steve's book, put it in the chat. Say yes, I'd love a copy. All right. And I'm going to share the results here in a second. All right. And this is very, very interesting. So obviously, a lot of people have already transitioned into full time if you've already been in here. So here we go. And I'm going to end the poll in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end and share the results. All right. So yeah, I'm not super surprised that 38% of the people are full-time. I got 11% full-time, but they're still transitioning out of a job, right? Full-time on a team, 10%.
Yep.
Part-time, leveraging my sphere. Look at 11% are just, this is it. This is success for me. And part-time, keeping my job and supplementing my income, 16%. Other profession and other options, 4 and 11%. Very interesting.
So I want to point this out. This is really, really positive information to people that are getting their license, which is most people here. Half the people who are now licensed, have been licensed for a while, are now full-time, right?
Yeah.
How did they get
over half the people are
over half are full. This is great news for you guys, because what they did is they used these different steps up the ladder to get to become a full-time agent. Now, those of you who are on teams, notice if you look at this, what percent of people on a team? It's about 10%. but a third of you are planning on joining a team. Because what happens for a lot of people is they join a team, and after a couple of years ago, I really know what I'm doing. I'm not getting my own leads, and they go out in the business on their own. And team leaders know that. That's why they keep refilling their team. And
keep recruiting people in.
They keep recruiting people, and that's okay. And you're going to see that 2/3 of the people, because now it's less than 10%, leave a team over time and become a full-time agent. So it's a great stepping stone, along with many other ways, in order it become, as we're talking about, like other options, leasing agent, so forth, or part-time, and then you become full-time. So great feedback, and wonderful to see you can go from all these different stepping stones. Half the people end up full-time and having that really flexible lifestyle, high income career that they want in real estate. So you can absolutely get there. You got to be smart about how you do it. And you got to be focused and disciplined. I'm going to say one other thing. Julie Olson, one of our coaches and trainers, she sent me an article recently that agents that have a focus and have a niche, that they're just like, hey, I'm just like, I'll take anybody and everybody and hope somebody comes to, use me. People have a niche and go after that niche, make twice as much money as people that don't have a focus and don't have a niche. So you got to focus, you have discipline, you got to have a niche, you got to have a plan, and you can really have everything you want in real estate and have that career that you want, make the income you want.
Awesome. All right, Steve, thank you so much. Everybody, this is the end of our Real Expert today. And I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. Hopefully you can see this end of performance slide with Steve's contact information on it. And once again, please text into the chat box if you want a copy of his book, the ebook, and we'll make sure and get that out to you. There you go. 7 Proven Pathways to Your Real Estate Career. It's about 30 pages long. It's a good read, and it's just a quick hitter for you to help maybe give you some confidence on the path you're on.
Absolutely. Right. So great to be here, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thanks for all the amazing comments. They're just coming at us like a fire hose, and we love seeing them. So thank you so much. Thanks, Toby, and Michelle in the background. Thanks for helping out. Really appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.